present is Alena to take her through our workshop. We have 70 minutes to go through the workshop. But of course, Alena will guide us in terms of the time, but that's the time limit that is allocated. And of course, what you might wish us to do through the workshop. So, Lore, Lois, Roxanne, welcome. Alena, you can get on board, introduce yourself, and proceed.
Thank you so much. Daniel, hello to everyone. Glad to see you. Hello from Minsk, from Belarus. It's really hot today here. I don't know how it's in other country, but it's really difficult for us to work, to think, to do anything. It's abnormal for our country, this kind of weather. But I will try to do my best and to talk about our experience I'm going to speak today about empowering older people through lifelong learning, and I'm going to talk about our project, our experience. It's called University of Third Age. It's a really popular forum as far as I know in UK, for example, and in many other countries, but it's new for our country, and it gives a lot of opportunities for old people to participate in the community and to be active and stay healthy. If you, I will be happy to answer your questions in the end of my presentation. I'm going to show my presentation, so let me know if you can see it now. So I'm going to start. It's fine?
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay, so let's begin. So as Daniel mentioned, my name is Alena Stanislauchyk, and I work as executive director at NGO, Belarusian Association of Social Workers. And at the same time, I'm the head of the project called Minsk University of the Third Age. Before I will tell you about our experience about this project, I would like to say a few words about the situation here in Belarus with the old people rights and situation with aging in Belarus. Just as many countries in Europe and other world, we have aging population here in Belarus, and it's getting, let's say, it's getting worse from year to year. And right now we have a lot of conversations, a lot of discussions, what we have to do and what we should do to be prepared for the aging population, what we have to change. In my mind, what does it really mean for the country and for society to be prepared for aging population? First of all, it means addressing so-called social determination of health. It's access to food, for housing, financial resources of old people, social connection, social participation, and social security. It's really hard enough to achieve all these elements, as you may know, WHO defines health aging as a process of maintaining and developing the functional ability which enables well-being and health in old age. And of course, there are some steps we have to take to achieve the healthy aging, to make it possible to live, to have good health in old age. And one of the steps it's access to education and lifelong learning opportunities. Actually, if to speak about importance of this process for old people, of course, first of all, it contributes to the personal level. because lifelong learning it's focused on personal development, but at the same time, it gives a lot of benefits for the society as a whole. Because it promotes social inclusion and participation in society and better health for people. And it means reduced costs, first of all, to healthcare costs, and it means greater contribution to society as a whole. But if to speak about our reality about Belarus, I would say that old people have really limited opportunities to lifelong learning here, and one of the reasons of this situation that we don't have we don't have too much programs here in Belarus which aimed at old people, and we don't have at the national level, we don't have this kind of terms like informal or non-formal education. We have only formal education in Belarus in our legislation. And all those programs and projects which run by our non-governmental organizations and non-profit, non-governmental initiatives, they are not recognized by our governmental bodies, and they are not a part of educational system here in Belarus. There are a lot of universities across the country, formal universities, formal educational institutions, but it's pretty hard enough for old people to enter these institutions because due to different reasons. And first of all, I'm talking about entry requirements. It's really difficult for them to participate in programs within formal institutions, within formal educational institutions. Most of them are, let's say, they are not friendly for old people. In formal institutions, we have programs starting from 3 years until 5 years. It's long enough. We don't have short-term programs, and we don't have any, let's say, supporting or orientation programs which could help old people to enter universities and settle in. And of course, this is a really not really good situation. It's not changing yet, although we have last year it was adopted a new strategy. It called National Strategy on Aging, but there are a lot of things that have been declared in this document, but we still don't have real, let's say, approaches we can achieve all these things from this document. And especially if we talk about educational opportunities, we still don't have enough elements in our system and in our educational system to become possible. But if to speak about non-formal education here in Belarus, as I mentioned before, most of them run by our non-governmental organizations, initiatives, and not all of them are, in fact, good, let's say, because as far as probably you may know that for many years here in Belarus, just as in many post-Soviet countries, we preserve paternalistic approach in our social services, in our educational services, and other activity, and we still can see the same situation when our organizations are trying to run different educational opportunities and different educational programs for old people. And as you can see on this slide, I mentioned so-called phenomenon of learned helplessness, and we can see this through many educational programs here in Belarus for old people. If to speak about effectiveness of programs for old people, in my mind, we have to think about, we have to remember about key elements, key issues. And first of all, of course, we have to remember about psychological characteristic and physiological characteristic of old people, about motivation they have for learning, about focus on development of active position in life, and about, we still have to remember that old people still can have different roles in society. They still can be volunteers, they can be mentors, consultants, and they can play many different roles, not only like a grandmother or grandfather. And we still have to remember when we run programs for seniors, for old people, we have to remember that all the things we do, all the programs we organize, they have to be together, organized together with old people. We have to ask them what they want, not just think what we can provide to them just because we know about it. And in the end of this slide, you can see this not for but together with, and most of you, I think that you know about motto called nothing about us without us, and this is a great principle in my mind that should be in every program, for not only for old people but for every group we work with. And if to speak about our experience, we try to take into account all these elements, all these points I've mentioned, and we started this project several years ago. It started in 2013. And of course, the main purpose of this project was a social inclusion of old people, enabling them non-formal and informal opportunities for learning opportunities, and we are trying to encourage them to participate in social life and to contribute to society. What kind of result, I will show you what kind of results we have to the moment, but I would like to say a few words about our organization, just to make you understand why we decided to start this project. Our organization, my organization, we are a national association bringing together specialists in social work and rehabilitation, and we have experience of more than 25 years. And we work with different groups, not only with old people, but the main point for us is to build a sustainable society and to help different groups to become sustainable and to achieve resilience in their life. And so we work with different organizations. We work with organizations who provide social support for population. We work with organizations who provide educational opportunities. And we also do different kinds of research to understand what kind of needs do people, old people have, and other social vulnerable groups have. And our activity in aging, you can see we are supporting and empowering old people through our project Minsk University of Third Age, through providing information and advice for old people. We do trainings for caregivers. We work at the national level, trying to change our legislation, trying to improve service delivery for old people and for other groups here in Belarus. And we also work with our society as a whole, raising awareness on aging. And we, some years ago, together with our colleagues from other non-governmental organizations, we created a coalition. It's called Decent Longevity Coalition, and we have a lot of partners across the country who help us to run our activity and to be, let's say, effective in our work. If to speak about our experience, what we achieved through all these years, starting from 2030, I would say let's speak about terms. Actually, usually we call our participants of our project listeners or just participants, but our old people, they prefer to call themselves students. So I'm going to use this term today. So I'm going to use the term our students, just to make you understand. So during this year, we have more than 7,000 students who finished our project, our university. And we have, every year we have 25 educational courses available for old people. And I would like to mention that all the courses, all the classes conducted by volunteers. All the teachers we have in our project, they are volunteers, and during this time we had more than 700 volunteers, 700 people who joined our project and decided to share their knowledge with old people here in Minsk. And as you can see, the oldest student in our university is more than 90 years old. Annually, we have more than 1,000 participants in our program. And most of our courses, it started from September and it goes to until May. Then we have summer holidays just in formal educational institutions. And Minsk University, Minsk U3A provides educational opportunities and opportunities to participate in society for old people through 4 main elements. We have educational courses in our, as I mentioned before, and we have a volunteer center, 60 plus. It's a volunteer center for our students. We are trying to not only to teach them how to be a volunteer, but also we are trying to find opportunities for them to become a volunteer in different projects, programs here in Minsk, in different social organizations, social centers, ecological organizations, and so on. We have a center for intercultural communication. Actually, our students, they really like to travel a lot to other countries, and we have great cooperation with other universities in other countries, and that's why we decided to open this direction. And we all the time, we always think not only about showing to our students how do people in other countries live. We also would like to make them possible to speak to other active old people in other countries, to communicate with them, to ask questions and get some answers why it's important to be active and what does it mean to be active for other people from other countries. And we also have one more direction. We are trying to, let's say, increase access to cultural opportunities here in Minsk for old people. It's not, sometimes it's really not easy for our people to get access to different cultural sites here in Minsk because of some physical reasons or because of financial reasons. Sometimes it's really expensive for them to participate in different events or go to the theater, for example. So we are trying to build a cooperation with our theaters, with different cultural sites, and to give this opportunity for old people in Minsk. Talking about our educational courses, here you can see what we have as their opportunities for our old people. Of course, the most popular course here in Belarus, it's computer. Just as in many countries, old people I know that feel really excluded from the process, from technological process happening in different organizations, in different companies, and they feel excluded from this process because they don't have enough skills for to join this process. And they can't, for example, just as many countries, we also saw this problem when this COVID situation started last year. It was difficult for our people to stay isolated because they didn't have opportunity to join different online opportunities because they didn't have enough knowledge, skills to do this. They don't, sometimes they don't have technical possibilities to join this process. So we are trying to fight this barrier. And we also, the next popular direction, the next popular courses in our university, it's foreign languages. We have 8 languages right now, and it goes from the interest of our old people. They told us that they want to, for example, last year we started Chinese language, and we started because our students, they told us that they would like to learn. It doesn't mean for us that it's just 10 or 20 people who wants to do that. Our goal is to find this opportunity. So we right now we have a cooperation with the university from China, and we have a native speaker teacher for them who teach them Chinese language. And this is how our educational courses go. We have a lot of teachers from formal educational institutions, those who teach people, young people at the universities, and they're really interested in our project. They would like to participate and to do something new and to try their hands in this direction. I mean, learning, giving their knowledge not only for young people but also for old people. But of course, most of our let's say, volunteers, teacher volunteers. They are actually people who just work in different companies and just want to be, also they just want to be active and to want to contribute to our society. That's why they come to our project and give us their hands. They help us to run this activity. We are trying to do all the things that every formal educational institution have, just to make our students feel that this is a real educational program. Then this is it's really close to normal university or institution. So we have entering process, we have entry weeks, let's say, when people come to talk to us and tell us what they want to learn and what they would like to achieve during this year. And we also, of course, we have the same process as, educational process as in formal educational institutions. We have around every year we have around 50, 60 educational groups, and every group has let's say head of the group, and all the process we are trying to keep it serious, to give to our students the feeling that they belong to the real educational community, just as it was some years before for them when they studied at the university, at the formal university. And it's really great experience. We are really happy that a lot of young people join our project to help us with this process. And as you can see, there are lots of young people who work as volunteers in our university, but at the same time we have a lot of old people who retired, but still have knowledges they want to share with others, and they join our project as volunteers and also share their knowledges with our students. When I talk about retired people, usually it's medical specialists, it's former educational professionals from educational system, it's people from companies who do, for example, travel guides for different groups. And we also have a really important part of our program. It's a volunteer center for our students. Here you can see the main program and the main opportunities we give for them to contribute to society through volunteering. We have main directions like helping children, helping families, helping helping veterans, and helping people with limited mobility. We also have an ecological program and tutor program. We have a really popular program called Grandmother for 1 Hour. This is a program for those families who don't have grandmother, but they want to give their children this feeling, what it looks like and what it feels like. And they also have, our students also help to those mothers who raising children with disabilities and young mothers who have, let's say, have difficulties with the financial situation or some other issues in their life. And one more really popular direction our students participate in is the book crossing movement. And we have also a really great joint project we run with our partner. It's a private company partner, and this project called Second Life for Books. And our students are really active in this direction. And of course, we receive a lot of help from our students. They help to the staff of the project. They help us to organize different activities and within our project as the volunteers. I want to share with you just some of examples from this volunteer center. Here you can see some photos of our book crossing movement. Our students were really active even during this situation with COVID during this time. Usually within this project, they do sorting and restoring books which this private company collect from other people. And our students, they also delivering books to different social institutions, hospitals, libraries. And on these photos, you can see last month they delivered a lot of books to some libraries located in rural areas, and it gives more opportunities to the local citizens, to the local community to join this movement. And they also are really active in participating in different events. They are trying to encourage other people to respect books and to preserve them. And they work, let's say they do a really great work with the community in this direction. And if to talk about this project we run with the social center Happy Baby, so-called it's Souls Children's Village project. We have a cooperation for many years, and our students, they help for the families who visit this center, social center. They help to the families in difficult life situations. They do different lectures and consultations to visitors, to users of this social center. And it was really hard for us to do something during the last year because of the COVID situation. We didn't have possibility to run active activity within this direction, but thanks to our great cooperation and thanks to our wonderful students, we run a great project. It's an online project. It's called Grandma's Tales. And within this project, our students, they recorded fairy tales, audio fairy tales in different languages for children, and it's available for free on Facebook. And they did it together in cooperation with the young participants of our Republican Volunteer Center, and it's really a great experience, and for us, and not only for us, but for us as a community in our project. And there is one more direction I would like to share with you is the ecological program. Our students, they are really active in this direction. They do planting, they clean in forest park zones, and they also participate, and not only participate but also holding events to raise awareness among public, among our society, why it's important to save our nature and how to do it, what they can do, for example, their homes to reduce harmful consequences to the nature. And as I mentioned before, we also organize different opportunities for our students to not only to participate in cultural activities, but also maybe to show to others what they have and what they can do, and to learn something new, for example, to how to dance. And they also, as you can see, they also have a possibility to show it to other people, and it's really important for them, and it encourages them to be more active in our life. And there is one more direction we have in our university. We try to increase participation of our people in policy making. And our students, they take part in different conferences and round tables on the topic of aging, and they are trying to raise their voice, to speak about what kind of needs do old people have, and what they can do for society, and how they can participate in society. And last year, our students, our council, students' council, they took part in preparing proposals for the national strategy of active aging. I mentioned before, it was adopted in December last year, and they did a really great job in this direction. We also do great informational work. We collect and provide information to different organizations working with old people. We provide information for old citizens across Minsk city, what kind of opportunities not only we have, but also other organizations, other institutions, our other cultural sites have, and how old people can participate in this activity. We have email, newsletter, we have cooperation with libraries and social institutions, and we do information campaigns. And we work with our mass media to promote active aging and healthy longevity through mass media. And on this slide, you can see all these people are our students. They took part in the interview in different TV shows. We really like this principle, not to speak from ourselves what we think about aging as a specialist, as a professionals. We prefer to give an opportunity to our students to speak about it and to participate in this activity. And I would like to, let's say, share with you some, let's say, secrets why our project is successful. It's probably it's not a secret, but for many organizations in our country, non-governmental organizations who come to our organization and ask us what we do to organize such successful project, it's sometimes it's really secret. And first of all, it's a partnership. We have a really great, we spent a lot of time, almost 2-3 years from the start of this project to build this partnership. We have business companies who joined our project. We have local governmental authorities who are interested in this project. We have governmental organizations participated in this project. We have, and of course, we have a local community, as I mentioned, as a volunteer who participate in this project as a volunteers and who share with us their knowledges and their resources. And here you can see we have right now 25 partners in our system, in our project, and our general partner we have it's, let's say, they started with us just from the beginning, and we also have not only this commercial company, but we also have as a partners different banks, and we have other private companies who decided to join our project, and we also have medical institutions, of course, those who are interested in a healthy aging topic and would like to bring something new to the society. And I would like to say a few words how it become possible for us to invite business to this project, because the main problem for most of our non-governmental organization is to invite, let's say, money to different activities. It's hard enough, but we, let's say, we are not only lucky, but we also did a great job to explain to our private companies why it's important to work in this direction, why it's important to do different kind of opportunities for old people. And on this slide, you can see the view of the company, of our general partners, why it's important for business to participate in this kind of activity. And I would like to mention also this, most of those companies who work with us, they rely on international assessment of social investment model. It's LBG, so-called LBG model. And here how it looks like. It's really important for business to understand and to see that those changes you are talking about, it's sustainable. It can have real results, real outputs, real impact on the society. And this is how we speak to our private companies when we come to, not only with this project, but also with other projects. When we come to private company, we not just speak about why it's important to support old people. We all the time we speak about real numbers, about real impact, and all our ideas is realized like this when we talk to private companies. And just a few seconds to show you what kind of contributions could be from business to different social projects, initiatives. We have to remember that it's not only about the money, it's also about the time of the employers who work in the company, because they have a really great professionals who can provide just their experience, their knowledge for free, and help to, for example, to a non-governmental organization to organize not only a project, but also probably one of the biggest problem in non-governmental organizations, for example, in our country, it's organizational development. And it's really important to have this kind of professionals, but it's really expensive for a non-governmental organization to have this kind of professionals as a part of their group, as a part of their staff. So I would like to point this is important to remember about these kinds of possibilities, not only about the money. And if to talk about our cooperation with this business company, we have all these elements in our project. They provide us money to run projects every year. They do time contributions, and they pay to those employees who provide volunteering work for our project. They pay for these hours to their employers. It's really important. And they help us to run our management within organization. So this is a really great example of cooperation with business. And the next point, the main point for us and the secret for our project is, of course, it's local community. As I mentioned before, we have around 100 volunteers, teacher volunteers every year. It's retired professionals, it's working people, it's students of state universities. And as you may know, as a specialist, as a professionals in local community development, local community is always a great resource. They have a lot to give to any idea you have. We really often we have questions, why do people join our project, why it's important for them to be volunteers in our project. And here you can see answers to this question, and those answers were given by our volunteers. It's not our view, and it's not our mind. This is what our volunteer teachers talk about, importance of participating in our project. Of course, first of all, most of them, they speak about sense of purpose. They speak about sense of to be connected to community, to be connected to a really important project, providing, making some changes in society. And of course, it helps a lot for many of our volunteers to improve skills, or to get skills, new skills, or sometimes to maintain skills they have. Because, for example, we have a lot of people who teach our students foreign languages, and they work at the same time. They work at the private companies, and they don't have enough possibility to use their skills in this company. So this is important for them to maintain these skills, and that's why they join our projects every year. What we do to attract our volunteers, we regularly we do different kind of activities in the city. We speak about volunteering, we speak about our project, we ask our volunteers to invite other people to invite their friends, and it's really popular. We have a lot of volunteers thanks to this idea. We do mailings to educational institutions, youth organizations, and of course, as I mentioned before, we have a lot of volunteers, teacher volunteers, among from those who come from our students, those who still have different kind of knowledges and would like to share with others. And really important direction, and really important point for this direction, we organize training for our volunteers, and we have a support program for volunteers so that they can feel themselves as a part of community, and they all the time they can apply for any kind of help from the staff or from other professionals. We invite, from time to time, we invite other professionals to support our volunteers, and it helps a lot to run this activity. And also, as I mentioned before, just in in many other countries, we faced challenges, a lot of challenges because of this COVID situation, and most of our students had to go to isolation because of the COVID. So we were trying to think about what we can do to support them and to feel them that they still participate in this program. And we starting from this year, from January, we started online University of the Third Age. It's free, just as other courses and other activities within our project. It's totally free for every person. And it gives us new opportunities, because right now we have an opportunity to invite to our activity teachers and professionals, experts from other countries, not only from Belarus, and we already did. And now we have teachers as volunteers from Russia, and we also had teachers from Georgia. It's our colleagues from Association of Community Development from Georgia. And at the moment we have 19 online courses in our online university, and more than 150 lessons, and we hold more than around 40 webinars with different professionals in health, different legal companies, those who provide knowledges to and provide services to our students about their rights, about the rights of old people, what they can do to protect their rights and how to do it. And we also have a great cooperation with our financial companies who helps us to run a course on financial literacy. And we also have, right now we have a great cooperation with our organizations and professionals, those who work in mental health, because it's really a great challenge after COVID situation, when people face a lot of problems with mental health. So now we run a course on mental health of old people within our project. And the last but not the least, our secret is our students. Actually, they are best resource in our community, in our project. We have a student council which operates since the beginning, and they help us to organize different activities. They help us to raise funds, to find resources, and they help students' voice to become heard. And they encourage our students for active participation, and our members of our U3A student council take active part in coalition for decent longevity. And as I mentioned, our students, they act as volunteers, and all the videos and photo reports, we have a lot of them on Facebook and YouTube channel. It's all of them made by our students. We have a U3A documentary film studio, and all of this work was done by our students. Just a few seconds to show you what we do every year. It's not the whole research, but every year we end our year at the university with the this kind of assessment. We ask people what project changed in their life, if there is any changes, and what kind of changes they have thanks to our project, and how it influenced their life. Here you can see it's a survey which was conducted in 2019, because the last year it changed a lot in our structure, and we still think about how to organize this survey this year to ask people about changes, because we understand that a lot of changes was as a consequence of this COVID situation. But this is how we work and what we do to understand, is it really, does our program, our project is really effective, and what it gives to our participants. This is the whole I wanted to tell you about today. So I'm ready to answer your questions if you have any, and thank you so much for your attention.
Alena, yes, I can any questions for you. Thank you for your demonstration of your presentation. I have seen this presentation before, but I see that it has changed and supplemented. What a great work. Thank you very much. And I want to ask you about, tell us your story. How did you come to this activity? And what about your team who support you to do this great work?
You mean when you ask how do I, you mean yes. Actually, as I have education in social work and psychology, as a professional, I have a lot of ideas and a lot of things I would like to change, and that was one of idea I had starting from the university. I mean, when I started at the university, if to speak about those people who helped me, we have three person in our staff, I mean in project staff, and they are responsible for all the organizational work, but let's say they are responsible to make connection between these different parts I was talking about before. So it's three person I have in my group.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Good. I asked in the chat earlier. In the beginning, you painted a very accurate picture of the situation of the elderly, and you said that mobility could be an issue. And I was wondering how you managed to work around that, especially with people who have a disability, and if this could also work in a rural environment where there is less, maybe access to transportation and things like this. Thank you.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And this is a great issue here in Belarus. Probably not only in Belarus. As for Minsk city and our project, we work in a Minsk city. We work with different organizations, and all those classes, they are conducted on different sites across the city. So we are trying to, we have our classes in every district. So it's easy for those old people who live in a different region of the city to go to this class. But we also have this remote form for those people who can't go outside from home and want to join our university, our project, and our volunteers. Sometimes even if a person don't have knowledges, don't know how to join this online activity, our volunteers, they go to their homes, they help those people to connect, and they teach them how to to join these online platforms and how to join this activity. If to speak about rural area, this is a really great issue. Actually, people in our rural areas, they don't have too much possibilities actually to participate in any kinds of activities because it's a problem of social infrastructure, it's a problem of local, let's say, lack of interest from the local authorities and local organizations to run this kind of activity, which could help people to be active, to stay healthy. So the only possibility we have right now is an online, and all people from across the country could join this, of course, for free. But we understand that it's really difficult to old people living in a rural area to use this opportunity. So this is a great question. This is what we think about right now, and we are trying to find answer to these questions, and we are trying to find new forms to achieve those people who are living in a rural area and to give them this opportunity. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. I'm back. We had a technical problem with the Wi-Fi and going to sort out, but now we are back somehow. Can proceed with the questions and comments. Yes, Roxanne.
Hi, I had a question. Really interesting work. Really great to hear. I was so I work with people with dementia, and I noticed that on your online forum, you've got a little bit around what to do if a family member is worried about dementia. Do you do any sort of courses in person, or is there anything about what to look out for in yourself and what to do if you were worried, and what kind of, on a sort of a side shoot, but what kind of support is there available for people with dementia in Belarus?
Thank you so much for the question. It's a really great question, and it's really great issue here. We don't have too much organizations those who work in dementia topic, unfortunately. And most of these organizations we have, they are located in Minsk city and not in other region of Belarus. So most of opportunities we have in Minsk. But if to speak about learning opportunities for relatives and for people with dementia, for example, actually we have different groups. We have right now we have 3 groups in our university, and it's a group for those people who have dementia, and we have a special program for them. We explain them how to, let's say, how to live with this diagnosis and what to do, how to react to different changes they face or they will face. We also work with their relatives. We explain them how to care about old people with dementia and how to care about their mental health and physical health. And in this direction, starting from the last year, we have a great cooperation with our psychiatric organizations, psychiatric institutions, and we have a special program for the relatives to help them not only to provide care for old people, but also to care about themselves. They can get some knowledge about how to do it, but they also can get psychological support. They can join groups for relatives those who care about old people or about persons with mental illness, and doesn't matter what kind of illness they have. So yes, we have it, and we have for this year we have even more. We have more plans to run this activity, and we are going to do this with cooperation as these psychiatric institutions. We would like to do online course which will be available for all people across the country, because as I mentioned before, it's really difficult to people from other cities to join on-site these courses in Minsk. It's really difficult to travel from other cities. So we would like to make online possibilities, not only educational courses, but we are going to run self-support groups and support groups with the participation of different professionals from different organizations, medical institutions, psychological professionals, and professionals who know and can share different knowledges about caring people with dementia.
Brilliant, thank you. I really liked what you said in your presentation around getting people involved in policy making, and one thing I'm really keen is to kind of increase people with dementia's voices in policy, and both national and local initiatives. So yeah, really, really positive to hear. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Roxanne. And Alena, there's another question from McLeod, and we should be finishing in 4 minutes. So possibly you will respond quickly, then if there's any quick question, it can be raised so that we close in the next 4 minutes.
Thank you. Barney McGlade here. We work a lot with people with disabilities. I really liked your presentation, what you're doing. It's fantastic. And it's great to know that older people are being so included. It doesn't happen everywhere, so it's really good. Huh? And the extent and the breadth of the programs you're providing. I'm curious, kind of on the same conversation, not just about caregivers, but about older people themselves. In anticipation probably of mental health problems in the future, whether it's anxiety or encroaching dementia or Alzheimer's and so forth. What provisions might be made so that they can still make their own decisions? Not necessarily follow the decisions of family, of caregivers. And part of that might be if there was nursing homes available, maybe the older person doesn't want to do that. And it also linked into people with mental health issues, whatever age, still having the right to make their own decisions, or to choose someone that they trust who can help them, to support them in making their own decisions. Are there things like that being considered, or things that could be done in the future regarding that? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is really great point. And thank you. I totally agree. This is a great issue here in Belarus. Probably you may know that we have a lot of institutions, closed institutions for people with mental illness, and I would rather say that this is one-way trip to this institution. There is no way to come back to society if you go to this institution. And most of people with mental illness, not only old people, of course, they struggle to live in society, to stay at home, and not to go to these institutions. And we work in this direction. We have one more direction in our organization, in not only within this project, but we have a big direction and which we call mental health issues. And we work with the we organize, first of all, we organize and provide different social support opportunities for people's mental illness, to give them additional opportunity to stay at home, and to live in the society. We provide legal assistance. We have a lawyer who are specialized in this topic and who provide free legal assistance to people's mental illness. How to he tries to help people to find a better way for them to stay.
We need to close down.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh,
Excellent.
sorry.
Is that okay?
Much. Thank
Yeah, I
you so
think
much.
we are running out of time, and we are going to the next to a plenary in the next 30 minutes.
Okay.
Some of our colleagues joined us after we had started, and we started with a group photo. If it is okay, we can ask the Dinaro to take a photo. If photo, those who are not on video, you can come on video, and in the event you don't wish to, then you can shut down your video. Is that okay? Sure. So Dinaro, you can take a photo, and
Yes.
then we end the session. And thank you very much for the participation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Thank you very much, and see you in 30 minutes during the plenary.
Mhm.
Okay, this is bye-bye from Nairobi.